Ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you please stand.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Entertain a motion for consent agenda.
Second.
The motion made and seconded to see the consent agenda with the agenda and the minutes for the January 27th, 2026 Board of Supervisors meeting. Any discussion? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Liquor license, beer permits. I see we have one for the Mineola Community Building.
The 5-day special license.
I'd make the motion to approve that.
I'll second. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Stay.
Okay, public comment.
You ready? Okay. Everybody knows me, I'm Bonnie. First thing, I'm sorry I didn't get on the agenda, but I just have a few comments. Why doesn't our county attorney attend board meetings?
Should be here in a little bit. You mean the county attorney?
Yes,
or-
the county attorney.
I would say she has designated John as our attorney for the board. He takes care of, he reads all of our contracts for us and everything. Sometimes she's in trial and he's not.
Okay. Can you say anything about the firing of the assessor? I know it was on TV. Of course, it's been rumored around too, but is there anything that can be said, or is it gonna be in the paper, or?
It was a closed session. We can't talk about what happened. She requested for it to be a closed session. Can't talk about what happened in the closed session.
Even though it made public news on TV that she was fired?
We made public news because the news asked what happened during the action of the meeting. The action of the meeting took place outside of closed session, but all the reasonings why and the debate took place within closed session.
There's a public hearing scheduled. It'll be open.
February 18th.
There's a public hearing on that?
Yeah, I'll let you know the time.
Oh, okay.
Probably be 3 o'clock.
Huh?
It'll probably be 3 o'clock on Friday the 18th.
Okay.
I'll have stuff out later today.
The last thing I have, I like the meeting at the annex. Just thought it was more room and, I don't know, felt better. Of course, we had more people.
You know, the last meeting or meetings we've had there before.
No, the last meeting that we had there.
The reason we went to the annex was so we had room for the EMS people to come in.
Okay, well, I liked it.
Okay,
Well, I liked it at night too, so.
anyone else? Board of Supervisors Committee updates. Last week we had, statewide supervisor meetings, and then, Mr. Mayberry and I serve on a supervisor council of 9. And we try and meet with the governor twice a year just to discuss things and get her opinion, our opinions. We don't always agree, but, Lonnie's probably got some, I've got some things that was discussed with her. And one, the main one was human trafficking is getting so great in the state of Iowa because
That caught me off guard.
where this is taking place in small communities, how kids can be, or whoever can be picked up. And another thing that I was kind of shocked at, they now chip those people so that you can't run away from them. You know, they can find you. It's like putting a chip in your pet. You know, it's really sounds demoralizing, I tell you. Another subject that was, she discovered quite lengthily was going from election to appointments for the auditor, treasurer, and recorder. And then another one was that I thought very interesting was replacing some of the boards, combining them. And I just asked, I says, you should really look at what these boards do. If you do combine them, make sure that they are complete, so. Mr. Sayers.
Had a few good meetings last week. Was in the legislature on Thursday. I was asked to meet with the Senate president to talk about property tax reform, so I ran up there for a little bit. Then also last week on Friday had the conference board meeting. And those are the meetings I had last week.
I also attended a statewide supervisor meeting, it's our annual meeting, and met with the governor to discuss property tax reform.
Hey. Jacob. You're up.
All right, gonna table the first item. This is still just kind of ongoing. Progress company sent back a letter kind of basically saying, that they're on the hook for the payment. Sent that over to John. He reviewed it, wanted to change some wording, for indemnification, sent that back. They don't really like that wording, so John's kind of looking into it. And
Now we're going back and forth.
That's okay. So we have that. We're not gonna sign the inspection contract, so we'll table that and see if we're getting closer to it. Good. Okay, these next two items are resolutions for speed reduction. You guys are aware of this as far as the dirt hauling goes. This is lowering the speed limit to 35 mile an hour around kind of the problem sites. So this first one is on the quarry or dirt borrow entry site on 195th Street. We're gonna go 750 feet to the north and to the south, making 35 mile an hour. Then we will put speed reduction ahead, where it goes from 55 to 35, and then beyond the 35, we'll put a 55 sign up, bringing the traffic back up to the 50 mark. So we did consider making the whole stretch, basically the whole dirt mile haul route 35, and we think that's just impractical. People are gonna slow down at that site. But see no signs, eventually gonna be back up to 55, and then eventually they're gonna start bringing that closer and closer to the entry site, and then not even slowing down a little bit. We just wanna center it right on that.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 26-07.
And second that.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve resolution 26-07, a speed reduction to 35 miles an hour. Here, the old dirt quarry or rock quarry on 195th Street. Consists of 750 feet north and south of the entrance on that road. And then after that is resumed back to the 55 miles an hour. Any other comments?
We will install these signs, but we will seek reimbursement from the construction companies. So we just want to install them so we know the right places.
Hearing no other comments, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is resolution 2608, speed reduction near the intersection of 21st Street and Harris Road.
Same situation here, just different location. Still gonna do the 750 feet north and south of that intersection. Basically, that gives those the trucks when they pull out, they're kind of slow going, so slow down traffic, so not having to slam on their brakes, make it overall safer. So this also is coming out of the traffic study we have done. This is one of the recommendations as well. So they said, again, it might be a good idea to do it for the whole length, but we feel that putting it around it is going to be more effective. be able to control it mostly.
I'd make the most to approve resolution 2608, speed reduction of 35 at the intersection of 221st and Barris.
Second.
Got a motion made and seconded to approve resolution 2608, speed reduction to 35 miles an hour near the intersection of 221st Street and Barris Road. 750 feet south, 750 north. 221st Street would be the slowdown area. Questions? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Purchase of storm shelter.
Okay, so this is something that, we've been talking in our safety committee meeting down at the roads department for quite some time now. Probably fall of last year, kind of started coming up. Out in Emerson, we have no storm shelter for the guys. They're basically just full buildings. Malvern is the same scenario. However, we have permission. The Lincoln Center, talked with them. Guys can go there. Have not been able to locate any place out in Emerson. Talked to the city of Emerson. They said we can't guarantee that community center is going to be open or anything like that. So we did find a storm shelter. It's made out of 1/4-inch steel. It's 3x5x6. So you just get in there as the tornadoes coming. $3,000 total. It is from a company called Twisted Bend It Weld It Storm Shelters. And it's $3,000. That's shipped. That's installed.
Twisted Bend it what?
Twisted Bend It Weld It Storm Shelters. Found them on Facebook. They're out of Arizona. They are FEMA rated shelters. Texas Tech actually tests them. They're rated for 85 tornadoes. So we talked with John a little bit, just from a liability standpoint, that we had brought up the issue that there is technically no storm shelter cover there. Relatively low investment for having.
Absolutely. I'd make the motion to purchase that.
Second. That includes shipping.
Yep, final price, $3,000.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve the purchase of a storm shelter for the Emerson shop area. Built by Twisted, Bend It, Weld It, 3x5x6. A total cost of in place $3,000. Any questions? Concerns? Not all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. General discussion, sir.
General discussion, kind of following up with you and Liza called in for a road vacation. We're looking into that. We're gonna follow IM 2.27, the DOT, and it references the proper area codes. The owner that contacted us looking to vacate a road, basically it's a dead end gravel and entrance for after his home. He owns both sides, however, it does access different property owners at the very end section of it. So this week, we're gonna make contact with them, we'll send out letters, and if we get everyone on board, I think we'd move forward with it. It's a dead end road for us, again, it's a little bit less maintenance, so if everyone agrees to it.
Just keep an easement for the other neighbors.
That's what we're discussing with them about, because they do have access from other roads to that, quite large parcels. And if they're okay with that, then we'll. Technically, if they're not okay with it, it would fall back on you guys if you still wanted to make a motion to close it. But we can cross that road and get there, but we'll send out letters, just kind of make contact with them. Hey, this is something we're looking at doing. If you have anything.
Which road again?
It's 3-8.
North 34th school. It's a 1/4-mile section.
It is gravel.
Gravel south side there.
Next, I do have, as promised, these are packets of our FEMA buyout properties that we have converted into, is Graf's prairie restoration. So pretty simple, just kind of overview map and then individually together combined, things that we have done and are still in the process of converting to 35.89 acres. That we're putting back into the Graf's small file.
Insights.
Yes. So that's
Just for your
information. Last thing for general discussion. Next Monday, have a meeting with the DOT to go over our safety action plan. You guys remember we had that grant, worked with Kinley and Horn, got safety action plan. Some of the things identified on that were, installation of turn lanes at Levi Road, Kid Road, off 34. So that's gonna drive the talking points on Monday, the DOT towards that and see if we can kind of pull together some funding and take that as a future project. To me, it makes sense. Coming off 34 and get someone trying to stop it. We've had accidents in the past, so that would be definitely a safety.
I'm gonna step back to, FEMA buyout property thing. I talked to Terry Brown last week. I'm gonna get him on a conference call in here. He said he'd be more than happy, what can we do with the rest of these, I said something about, renting them out. He says, no problem with that. We just have to get the approval of the government and going. And if you sell it, it's a major, somebody wants to buy a chunk of it, it turns into a major operation of paper. Why are we doing this? What are we, the money all transfers to them anyway. I mean, but the red tape going through it. I said, okay, we have some people that would like to use them for campsites and stuff. Well, he says, I can't say that's not legal. He says that is movable. That is the main thing they request, that it be movable. So, but I said, Terry, you're not helping us out any, so anyway, I don't know where we are with that.
That's why I like this. It puts it back to a natural state. And once we get established, it's low maintenance, wildlife habitats.
You burn those.
We can, yeah. We'll probably wait. Well, it kind of. The first year or two, it might look like a bunch of weeds because they grow the root system out. And that could be a good time to burn, kind of make room for the final year when they really spring out.
We should have plenty left in the snow removal.
Yeah, and we're doing good there, but still a little early to be talking like that, Richard, so be careful.
Yeah.
It's been a very unique winter. You get north of 80 up in that area and places, and it goes county by county. Talked to some of the guys last week. One county's had 4 foot of snow. Of course, a lot of it's blown over in the other county, but they said, we actually got nothing. But he said, with 40 to 60 mile an hour winds, he says, it all comes south. So, no, there's some counties up in there that, I don't think, they said, well, we're just gonna dig out certain roads.
That's the hard part of the budget to put together. You don't know what the weather's gonna do, and 2, even 3 bad storms, your whole like $100,000. All right, anything else for me?
Nothing good.
Nothing, sir?
Amber, I'll get copies of these straight out.
Building and zoning, Matt, I guess you're up. Thank you, Jake.
Yep.
It's really good. We're coming up on February 18th to do the consulting agreement, and so I put it back on the agenda see if you all wanted to renew it for another year.
Didn't see any red marks on there. Is it staying the same as it was?
Everything's the same. I changed the address, at the top, I moved residences and, changed the date. Other than that, the rate is the same. All of the details are the same. I did send it back up for John to review again for you real quick.
Also did.
You're okay with it, John?
Yes.
I'd make a motion to renew the professional services contract.
I guess I will step down and second it. We have a motion made and seconded to approve the professional service contract with building and zoning. Is there any discussion?
A few things. This agreement was entered into, when Holly Jackson left the building and zoning department, because the building and zoning department needed an official to help take care of county business. Now, this was a temporary move. Matt, of course, works, what's your official title, Matt? Head of Planning and Zoning, Potawatomi County. Head Director of Planning and Zoning. So he works up there, full time. We don't have a 28E agreement where we share Matt like we did with Jacob. Instead, Matt has his own LLC that we hire for and supposed to be having him for 15 hours a week. Now, if you take apart the salary, it's $96 an hour. You look at the accounts payable so far for this fiscal year. I just got it the other day, it's February 2nd. I got it yesterday. I got $768 we paid for 8 hours worth of phone calls. I got $3,840 we paid for meeting prep, 40 hours and site visits. $1,536 we paid for phone calls, email, 16 hours. The problem with this is I remember vividly that when we agreed to this contract last time around, we asked for the specifics, and he did do that for a month. But then in October, we have a consulting fee. It's not broken down of what happened and what was done, but we just have $6,250. For November, we have a consulting fee, $6,250. December, $6,250. We don't have a breakdown about what happened. We don't have anything.
The invoices probably have to break down on them.
Why aren't they, why is it the breakdown on here like it was?
Sometimes it's a lot faster just to enter it that way, then we can go back and look at the invoice and see what that breakdown is.
As the invoices had this
We
information.
have to have the breakdown before we pay them.
Right, well, that's good, I take care of it. But nevertheless, I like Matt. I believe he does a good job, but $75,000 for 15 hours of work a week. Then in addition to that, this was a temporary move until, to be exact with you, June 17th, you two, Lonnie and Richard, voted to take down the application process so we could apply for the position. So this is now an indefinite move that we have Matt on. And we get sent.
I don't feel this is indefinite. I think it's working for now. And it's safe to move on or what is not working. My opinion is, it's working now and we're in the black. It's still money ahead instead of hiring an employee. So, all the, developers that I've talked to, whether it be commercial, or residential, zoning people are very happy with working with Matt. Seems to have a good relationship with everybody and it's working down there. So I support it.
Is it black because, of that,
Now.
or is it black because we got rid of a building inspector and don't have a building inspector in those counties? That's probably a big reason why it's black,
No,
right?
not at all. Not at all. The building inspector cost us more money than it did Billy made by far. So the reason it's in the black is because it's managed correctly and that's doing a good job.
I have to kind of agree with Lonnie, you know, the administrator before didn't have the qualifications and stuff that Matt has, and that's what we need to keep these meetings going, and just the information that he has in his background and stuff has helped Mills County in the long run. And I've had many conversations with the Board of Supervisors in Pot County. And, you know, this is, the county attorneys approved this contract, you approved it, signed off on it, sent it to us, we approved it. So, you know, I just asked him, I says, what is your problem? Well, this doesn't seem fair. I said, person can do what he wants on his own time, right? I said, well, yeah. I says, that's when he's here. He's on his own time. Well, we'll go for another year. So that's their take on it. I mean, they have questions about it, but I look at it this way, is that makes no difference whether it's an employee here in Mills County, if what they do on their own time, that's their business. What kind of a business they want to run, you know, that's their business, so.
Did Potawatomi County have any say in the approval of this map?
The board itself.
The board itself, Board of Supervisors,
I would tell you that they're not exactly thrilled, but
they're not too happy about it.
I think
And
it's
they
a
don't have any
misconception.
control of it either.
Like the misconception of zoning will be competitive, but it's not competitive. It's to. Very Kings County has its own unique features and it's a regulatory.
Is there any other discussion? Not all those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Can I ask a question? Is that okay?
no.
Oh, wait, my turn.
Motion carries 2-1. Thank you, Matt.
Okay.
Want me to have the signing?
Mr. Schultz.
I've got one for Sue if you want to go and sign it. Yep. Want to fill it out?
Good morning. How are you today?
And,
You're disposing of 3 vehicles, so.
Yeah.
Crashed.
one, actually, no, not yet. These are the 3 vehicles that we taken apart and they put the last month that we first do. One we had from the 24-25 fiscal year, the SAP, ways to get updated. Also, they put another 4-month, one they get apart. Pretty happy with that out there, better. Keep it, not happy. That's true. There's a 2020 Dodge Durango. We got about 120,000 miles, and then we had the 2 Ford Explorer Interceptor hybrids that cost us way more than we ever should have in the long run because the amount of money we had to put them to keep them serviced. Right now they're at Chrysler. We're waiting for your approval. Disposing them, determine what they're gonna give us as far as trade.
What for miles roughly?
About 80.
About 80,
Both of those. I think one's a little over like 84,
That's fine.
one's like 78. One's a 78, and staff 2 months over it. Ford dealership in Platinum, waiting for a battery or something on that hybrid side of the road. So those 3 vehicles are the ones that we used. We have since pulled all the vehicle around that's restricted, and they're just waiting to dispose of them.
And depending on what Chrysler says, whether we do a trade there, whether we try to stay all outright. See a bid options.
That's what's gonna do the disposal of those. Just not-
One of the two.
We'll get 100 or 5,000 out of them, one of the other.
Right. Yeah, and depending on what, Red Oak Chrysler has an independent guy who will come in and look at them. He'll probably purchase them because Red Oak Chrysler is probably not gonna try and sell them off their lot. But what they would do is they would just allow us, if that guy come in and purchase them, to take off the next vehicle and purchase.
They're not salvage titles, right? They're not.
Correct.
They're just full wore out.
They are.
Seen better days.
Yes, sir.
I make the motion to move forward with the disposal of 3 vehicles.
We have a motion made and seconded to, approve the disposal of 3 vehicles in the sheriff's department. More or less, what he can, where and when, what he can get for them is,
Yeah, we're gonna do the best we can to get that.
any other discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Carry.
Second item, post crash. That occurred a couple weeks ago, Wednesday. One of our deputies got T-boned out at, Ingram Highway 34. That vehicle has been totaled. That 78% of the actual value, sounds like the insurance company's gonna write us a check for around 31,000, something, 31,500. However, it doesn't change the fact that we're a vehicle short. We contacted Red Oak Chrysler, they run on the state bid, they were able to locate a vehicle in Missouri. And, they have it on their lot, waiting for us to get approval to purchase it. It's actually just a little bit cheaper than what we've been purchasing for, because it's a leftover 2025, and it doesn't have a hard center console. However, when we pull the hard center console out of one of the Fords, so we're gonna just put it into that one. So the purchase price for this one to replace that wrecked car is $42,239.00. I'm confident, with the upfit, the amount of money I've left from the 2 upfits that we did using some carryover equipment from the Fords to the new Durangos, this last 2 builds, that we've got the money left in our budget, to make the difference between the insurance check.
Yep.
And what this amount is.
Cause I'm adding that to my budget amendment, the insurance check, and so that will, since you have the money already, but I'm gonna go ahead and do our
Yep.
budget amendment, pay something else.
At this time, I'm just requesting permission to go ahead and enter the contract to purchase that vehicle from Chrysler. We can get that process started. We actually towed the wrecked car, and their insurance is also gonna pay for that. Towed that wrecked vehicle down to Sector down in Rivendell, to start the decommission process. And then, once that's decommissioned, it can actually use all of the equipment from that vehicle to put into this one. There, put one down as a 24, this is 25, everything carried over. So that
Good.
Our update on that side will
That
also
was my next question. Was the upfitting. So
the upfitting and the decommissioning of the previous vehicle will all be covered under the insurance fund. So ideally, this isn't gonna cost us anything more than the difference between the old car payout on the insurance and then the new car purchase.
11 grand roughly.
Correct.
Correct. I make a motion to approve the purchase of the replacement vehicle for the sheriff's department.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the purchase of a replacement vehicle. And the cost would be $42,239.
Correct.
Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, the next time you guys wreck one, could you wreck an old one? Please.
Well, right. We'll do our best.
Here, that's the Durango that you're purchasing.
Correct, 2025, you're right. You like that? Yeah, it's fun to
But
do that.
I just.
Okay, no motion on the floor, seconded, approved. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. General discussion, sir.
I don't have anything else. We have our contract numbers, to go out to the the towns, together. I don't think we're gonna raise anything this year. Just gonna leave it level. Towns can afford a bump, so we're gonna leave it about the same, that 20 agreement for that. But I'll get those to you hopefully next week to review. And John, make sure you get, they want to send them to the top side of that. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Travis, Patrick, on the agenda, discuss formal action, Hills County Communications Center 2080 agreement with City of Glenwood.
Want to come to the table too? Have a meeting where we sit up here.
Take the chair, John.
Come up, Patrick, we'll put you at the table. Oh, there we go. Thank you all. Okay, we've had some previous meetings and things, and discussed some things, and
That's okay.
we're getting down to where we want to get this done, so I put it on the agenda here to discuss. Valid things that the city has brought, we have brought. Any of you want to strike off on this first?
For all we did. That was our second round of discussions with the city in relation to the 911 agreement. There's an initial offer, this was under advisement. They came back with a counter offer. Lively discussion back and forth
Pretty good
on,
meeting. So
second round, going through it. And, what we've arrived at is it was 70 froze for 5 years. Terms of the agreement would remain largely the same, but this is to, full action would be to basically approve that as sort of the formal offer from the board of, freeze at 1.5 years. The sort of language of the contract, if that's approved, then we would sit down and actually go through some of the extra details that are provided in there. There's some language that's probably antiquated at this point, or some service language that's no longer needed in there. So we would go through, I'd sit down with Matt Woods, and we sort of go back and forth and pick the language to come up with a final agreement that then could provide you guys in the city at their meeting.
I hear what Patrick and Travis think about 170 for 5 years. These are services that you guys with Department of Revenue, do you think that's a fair price?
I think, Patrick, we provided to them of 85. But then if you haven't seen that letter, we've got copies of it. You see it? Sir. And I think that just that leaves the remainder as 170 of the compensation, for the administrative services and everything that can make piece of form. So I think all of our desire is to bring a little bit of clarity to how we got to, the amount that was agreed upon in the document, because I will agree with the current 2080 agreement is very specific in some areas, and then a little bit vague in others, on how they got to that amount. So I would like to bring some clarity to that. I think with the 170, understanding that, city already agreed 85,000. Well, how do we bring clarity to the remainder? How did we get to that current agreement? My understanding, doing some fact finding, if the previous administration, it's always been based on the call volume and the individuals that it takes to accommodate that. So the current minimums that we are paying our dispatchers, as the tentative agreement was signed, labor, $48,000 each. So I think with understanding that city of Glenwood's call volume is 35%, and that's dating back 2014, maybe you can show that 35 to 40%, right? There it's, well, what is that equivalent to in terms of people performing those administrative services? So,
What portion of the overall 911 budget does the city government pay now with the current agreement? What percentage would you say? If they're 35% of the calls, how much do you think they're actually paying overall?
just in terms of staff
Overall,
overall with,
you would think that 35% call volume, they should be paying around 35% overall.
well, stuff, I'd have to do a little bit of digging, but with what it takes to employ everybody, for included salary and benefits. Like, let's say we're right in the due range, I think, for next year. Now, again, that's with what we're allotted. That's not what we have allotted. And then, because we're funded, across a couple sets of funds, the surcharge, 911 Joint Service Force Operational Fund, for our operating expenses. And that's based on the revenues that we get. And then, of course, there are the different funds that are responsible for the project, costs and associated logistics. I mean, in total, probably right in that $2 million range, but that's broken across, multiple funds.
Yeah.
There, again, surcharge money comes from the state of Iowa. The operational fund is revenue that we generate, through towers and agreements. And the bond payments, that are for the system and the maintenance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's,
So they're paying us right now about 168.
I believe that this current fiscal year is 86, I believe.
186.
I believe it's like 186 and some change, which, if we were to continue on, with the same, the 3% increase, I think that's it. If we're, for next fiscal year, it's right in the 192 range. Next fiscal year.
So we pay it's roughly 2 million overall.
Roughly 2 million, but
Roughly
again, that's
2 million.
broken across multiple
Different
funding
funds.
mechanisms,
And City of Glenwood, which has 35% of the calls,
35% of the population.
is doing $186,000. That includes Patrick. And does that include any sort of equipment?
There's quite a bit of equipment and other services that are included in
That we
current
provide with the
agreement
current.
that are outlined in there. Yep.
And the cost of that equipment, just ballpark figures that we go down, some of the biggest things that we have to outfit them with.
Well, just from the communication side, there's also, does include the administration. You see, it's the mobile and portable radios, which, depending upon how you figure those, in the model, those could be anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 to $10,000, a piece for the mobiles, and the same could be true for the portable radios. Then of course the associated kind of pieces and parts and portable mics and antennas and stuff like that. That's part of mine. Now I know within there it also has MDTs, the mobile data terminals, body cams, I think in-car and both body worn. Now that's not in the communications, that's more. Sure.
What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, it's definitely, it's a little bit of an increase over the previous contract. It does require for the good bill. But I think they're done. So it's this work. I don't think it does capture. True costs of services. But some of those services are. It's all responsible. So they initial payment for services. But required is from the city. Yeah, that 170. Still. Yeah, it's good. So.
Do you agree with the idea? Do either of you agree with the idea of 170 flat for 5 years, no increase and no changes in what's currently provided?
Something. So it's, yeah, that's. Same cost increase. But the cost increase in the future.
2 years, it could skyrocket.
I think that is decent. Pretty negotiative. So.
Until we get the health insurance first.
And those, that clauses like that and a full review of like the services.
Yeah.
Take place before, obviously, signings, not the approval of the agreement itself, is really approval of the offer.
of an agreement.
There's a lot of things in the agreement that are kind of outdated, some of the statements in there and things. So I think they're revising the whole agreement, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if it's approved today, the offer, then, and we meet with them again on Friday, they say, okay, at that time, well, they have had time to meditate on it. If this is approved today, when we get back, and they say, we have thought about it, yes, then we begin the process of sort of going over the agreement. Seeing what language we can stay, so what's to be added, get that negotiation process.
What we are required to do in Iowa law is what, and what we are not required to do and what we do on top of it, including anything that we outfit, any additional equipment that we are not required to provide. What would that be, to break it down? Just so that we can understand what we legally have to do. What we legally do with them as a part of this agreement.
Well, that was the entire conversation at the first meeting. Iowa code is they go agree on that. I think that's a request by legislative design because these agreements across every county completely unique, or no one is a mirror image to the other one.
Different.
So we, I think, have different interpretations of that portion of the code. It's, you can read a lot of ways. I think it's pretty clear in the way that our office has interpreted that the requirements that our code requires basically provide. The code only says that you're required to provide like emergency services. That is not fine. So I think the rational interpretation of the code is that we're required to take the call to disposition report and seeking disposition. Yeah, call or seeking disposition. Anything beyond that, admin services such as the lights on traffic stops or background checks or money wires, things like that would be considered admin services. They had different thoughts on that, back and forth on that. That was big. Starting forward, getting to the point of this number based on service that contract. But
They provided this number, just to make sure the 170 or
we provided this number after
170 for
after back and forth over services. But there's no clear, if you're looking for the codes explicitly say, by X, Y, Z, A through Z.
It's pretty vague.
Yeah. And as there's time, though, there's no administrative in chief's office or case like find those points of emergency occurs outside of call receive this position. Basically, code leaves it vague so the counties can negotiate it. Go through the process of it.
And, I agree, it's not a whole lot of money, but it does cover 2, 3 dispatch positions for us. That, helps Travis out, helps county out. Remember they said, well, at least we're not leaving you high and dry. I would ask for a motion to approve.
Make a motion to offer the city of Glenwood our initial offer of $170,000 for 5 years with no annual increase for the Mills County Communication Center 28E agreement with the city of Glenwood. And I would also stress in my motion that both parties need to sit down and meet about what services is going to be provided as a part of this agreement.
I'll second that motion.
You get that down? Would you read it back?
Yep. So to approve the offer of $170,000 without increase for the next 5 years, the 28E communications agreement with the city of Glenwood, with both parties need to sit down to discuss, meet and discuss what services will be provided.
And I thought there was conversation in there on this 170,000 at the end of 5 years, it could not go anywhere. Am I wrong on that?
That's something you guys can work out.
Okay.
It's just to move forward with it.
Right.
We're not approving the contract, so there's just gotta do.
And I appreciate, so we can keep this stuff going. I don't want to meet on this for the next 6 months, on trying to get something done. They're trying to get something in their budget like we would be, so. Is there any further discussion? We'll have a roll call, please.
Mary,
Yes.
Crouch,
Yes,
Sayers.
thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Auditor Amber, consideration formal action. 2026 wellness program agreement. Mills County to participate in Isaac Wellness Program.
This is the yearly contract or agreement that we sign for the wellness program, that helps us get discounts on our health insurance. It's very successful this year. Asking for a motion to approve that for another year.
I'd make the motion to approve the 2026 wellness program agreement between Mills County and ISAC.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 2026 Wellness Program Agreement. Any questions, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, carried. Okay, next is consideration formal action reference Mills County employees that will enroll in the insurance and part of the Isaac Wellness Program. The Board of Supervisors will approve 8 hours of vacation for employees who complete the physical and submit it successfully to the Isaac and compensate completion of the wellness survey through the Isaac Wellbeing Portal before October 31st, 2026. 8 hours of vacation will be added to the first payroll in December.
also an annual thing that we do. We have to have it in the minutes, has to be approved by the board so that we can, but to make sure that's part of the incentives that we use to get people to
If you,
participate.
you sit down and figure out what this saves us in premium,
Yeah.
points that we get from this, it more than pays for itself.
Oh, yeah.
Make a motion to approve those county employees that are enrolled in insurance as part of the ISAC wellness program. The BOS will approve 8 hours of vacation for employees who complete the physical and submit it successfully to ISAC and completion of the wellbeing survey through the ISAC wellbeing portal for October 31st, 2026. 8 hours of vacation will be added to the first payroll in December.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the county employees for wellness program. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, in new business, on this, assessors questions and stuff, I need to find someone by Friday to be on what they call assessors board. We have, as supervisors, we have to have an individual. It cannot be a supervisor as an assessor board member or a school member or a mayor.
I'm on board.
Assessors board.
I think it's the examination board.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So if you have any ideas, let me know, see if I can get them corralled up by Friday.
Add, we will have to have we will include, maybe not next week, but the week after, zoning board of adjustment member. Had a member who had to leave, so we have an open position on the zoning board of adjustment. In addition to that, Amber, do we have a date, time set for the local option sales tax budget?
Yeah, when we meet to do our workshop on Monday, I have it as part of that.
It's upcoming Monday. Did that one then?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I think they also have planning and zoning that are opening as well. We have applications at our desk and also.
Do we have a plan to join the rope?
But, Audra brought up applications and I thought it was for both.
No further business. I'll make a motion to adjourn at 9:13.
Do any of the other cities, Mills County, have any kind of
We
agreement?
have a motion made and seconded to adjourn at 9:13. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.